David Lindsay, and I am the Executive Director for Project Life. And 22 years ago, I was one of the founders of Project Life at Davidson College. Then people said, wouldn't it be nice if we franchise this model? What if we raise money to go and create chapters on other college campuses, take this Davidson Project Life model and transport it to campuses eventually around the country? But we decided we're going to try and do 10 schools a year with a goal of 50 schools in 5 years, and to raise $1.5 million to cover the cost of typing any and all students who want to get typed at those schools. Right, there are a lot of diseases that it can treat. The most common are the leukemias and the lymphomas, non-Hodgkin's. One of the least known things about bone marrow transplants, a bone marrow transplant is the only cure for sickle cell anemia. And so that's one of the messages we want to get out there, that the more opportunities for a cure we can provide for patients with sickle cell anemia, I mean, what a great thing that will be. We will have 10 schools at the end of this year, which is great. And our summer work is to get on campuses in anticipation of the students coming back, but get the administrative support we'll need, and then really get them to help us to find the students who can create and run and sustain the drive for years to come. And so that's the goal, is to have those campuses in place in the next 4 or 5 months, and then begin the process on each of those campuses of training and educating and getting a group of students who really, feel passionately about making this thing happen at their school, having Project Life, this model that has worked at other schools, but make it their own. Make it the Johnson C. Smith University Project Life chapter. So it's not a recipe book that we provide them, but just, this is the opportunity. Here are some resources and tools that we think will help you, and hopefully then they'll wrap their arms around it and say, yeah, this is something we want to make into our own movement. Be connected to these other campuses, which is another big part of what we're trying to do. We would love for, within a year or two, for schools to feel like they're a part of a network of young adults who are committed to stepping forward in this selfless, generous way and saying, I'm willing to be on this list until I'm 60, where I can get that phone call and potentially save a life. And so to be inspired by all these other people of their generation at campuses, ultimately around the country, but certainly around the region, where they can have that peer motivation to be a part of something special. Johnson C. Smith and Livingstone, which is in Salisbury, there are two predominantly historically black colleges and universities that are in this first-year class of Project Life. I mean, it's so exciting just to see a steady stream of students and some staff and faculty just coming up, and if they don't already, a lot of them already know something about it, because the students here have done a great job of educating folks. Hopefully, if they get that call, it'll feel exciting, that here's this phone call. I mean, how often in life do we get that chance to save someone else's life? And so they're putting themselves in a position to do that, which I think is incredible. There are two organizations that are national organizations that can provide the swab kits and do the actual typing, and Be the Match is one of those, and they're wonderful. I mean, Be the Match is directly affiliated with the National Marrow Donor Program, and that's where, no matter how you get registered or typed, they all go to this one place, national registry. And so, depending on the school and depending on the circumstances, we partner with both. If we can get people to help us provide the funding sources, because that's a significant cost. So, to remove those myths, those things that make people fearful or suspicious of what's involved, all of which are normal and human to have those questions, but we feel like if we can arm the students with education and the funding, then here's this great opportunity. Get me on a list to save a life. We have a cure. We just don't have enough people to provide it, and I think students get that. If you match somebody, there's no cost. The patient's insurer will pay for all of your costs, so there's never any cost for the potential donor. At the drives, the campus drives, there's no pain. It's just a buccal cotton swab in the inside of your cheek, and that puts you in the registry. If they think that you've matched somebody, if it looks like the genetic bingo cards being filled out on the patient side and on the donor side, They bring the donor back in, the potential donor, do more extensive blood testing, and decide if this donor is indeed a good and the best match for the patient. The next step will be to determine how to extract the marrow. One way is through a stem cell donation, which is a lot like a blood transfusion, and then you'll be done with it. And then the other way is to do a surgical procedure where they take what they need in that way. And for the most part, the worst side effect is you'll be sore, kind of like if you sat down real hard on a chair. The National Registry, I mean, they keep all of all the information they get about your genetics and your DNA. All of that is as secure as any kind of information can be. I understand why that's a concern for some people, but there's no reason for concern. There's no one will have that information except for the National Registry, and that's a group that's been in existence since 1987, set up by the federal government. So it's about as safe as any information can be.